Welcome back. This is Goku Sunday BZ, and because of Between Mixed and Interesting response for a video I did recently, which was called Ice Earth Albums, Best to Worst, though technically I did Worst to Best. And because of interesting feedback, I thought I would actually do another one of my favorite movie franchise of all time, Star Wars. So, this time around, I'm going to be, in my own personal opinion, ranking, in my opinion, of the movies, the worst to the best. With that said, 8 movies total, of course, as of right now, theatrical release movies. And no, I'm not going to recognize the Ewok movies. That's not actually Star Wars. It takes place in the same universe, yes. But does it actually have Star Wars name on it? No, it does not. Ewok movies are now in void for that very reason. So, with that said, I chose predominantly classical music in the background. This and the next piece of music you hear is from one of my all-time favorite games, single-handedly my favorite game off the Vita, and it's the reason why I even got one in the first place, Gravity Rush. This music is called Old Town. The next piece is from The Pleasure Quarter. And there's another fellow gamer YouTuber out there who has used some music as well. You may know him, Alpha Omega Sin. With that said, best to worst movies. Coming in 9th place of the 9 movies is the animated film to start off the amazing TV series, but let's be honest, the film itself is not good at all. It would introduce one of my now all-time favorite characters, Ahsoka Tano. And of course, this is the first ever theatrically released animated Star Wars film, and that is Star Wars Clone Wars, the movie. And of course, it paved the way for the 5, or rather 6-season awesomeness that is the Clone Wars series, which I still, in my opinion, is still better than Rebels overall. And not to mention, it has a lot more material to work with over Rebels. Rebels is good, don't get me wrong, it gets better over time. Still not as good. But, yeah, coming in 9th place, I think the least strong out of the films so far released is Clone Wars animated film. Coming in at number 8 is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Comes in, at number 8 of the list. And I guess it's no surprise, a lot of people really don't like this film. I feel it's the weakest of the Star Wars prequels, to be fair. Now, with that said, I don't hate the Star Wars prequels like a lot of people out there do. I don't even hate Jar Jar, which is immediately probably going to get me thumb downs on the video. Oh well, Jar Jar haters get lost. With that said, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, of course, paved the way for the story arc with the prequels. Now, as I've said, it's by far the single weakest film. I will say, I love these freaking tins. These still cases are amazing. But, with that said, yeah. The best part, like I think a lot of people agree, Darth Maul was the best part of this entire film, hands down. He is such an interesting character, and I was happy when they brought him back in Clone Wars series, and of course in Rebels, if you haven't seen. Spoiler alert. Awesome series. You ever get a chance, seriously, Darth Maul is one awesome character. Though now in Rebels, he started going by just Maul, not Darth Maul. But anyways, Maul character is very fascinating, and so is the back history of his race. And of course, we learn he had a brother, and we end up seeing a clash between him and Ventress, which, by the way, is still alive and canon. But in this particular film, I actually didn't mind Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. I actually liked the character Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, some of the performances were win, but let's be honest, the original Star Wars trilogy has a lot more win performances than the prequels do. And yeah, I know a lot of the people who feel There is nothing to come close to the original trilogy. There's a lot of weaknesses in it. There's actually a few things the prequels did better. But I loved the introduction and introducing my personal favorite Star Wars world of all time, Naboo. Well, Naboo and Coruscant. Back and forth between my favorite. But the introduction, of course, we got to meet Palpatine. But yeah, in my opinion, that comes in. Next up, in my opinion, coming in at 7th place of all the Star Wars movies. Is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Which does have certain improvements over. And one problem is like that really bad CG shot. Areas like that are some things I actually think were better in Episode 1. And by the way, I still love the pod racing. Episode 2, some people may not like. I actually like CG Yoda. Yes, people can hate on all they want, but I still like CG Yoda, and there's nothing anyone can say to say otherwise. In this movie, I think also Ian McKellen, well, not Ian McKellen, but Obi-Wan Kenobi, I feel really does shine in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Hayden Christensen replaces, of course, the boy from, which has ended up having quite a checkered past now, actor. But I will say, nevertheless, I actually very much like. The dialogue's pretty bad in this film, I will be honest, that's probably one of the reasons it's so low, is the dialogue. Sucks, to be fair. It's pretty bad and pretty weak, to say the least. But nevertheless, I still really like this film. My favorite part of the movie, surprise, surprise, I actually really like the introduction of the cloners and the clone troopers, which actually can aim, unlike the stormtroopers. Hey, stormtroopers, you actually suck. Just saying. But with that said, and the awesome fight scene at the end between, of course, Count Dooku and Christopher Lee. Awesome again, as always. Next up, in 6th place. Wait. Yeah. 9th, 8th, 7th. Yep, 6th. Boy, I'm going to get some hate for this one. Coming in my opinion, in 6th place, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Yep, I can hear the hate comments now for this opinion. Not a popular one, I know. I know a lot of people love their dear Return of the Jedi. Regardless of how a lot of people feel about the Gungans and Jar Jar, I feel the same way about the Ewoks. I freaking hate the stupid teddy bear Ewoks. People can defend the Ewoks all they want, but I'll say this. You defend the Ewoks, you have no right to judge the Gungans. The Gungans are actually cooler designs. They actually normal size. The stereotype is pretty bad, I will admit, with the Gungans, but they're still much more interesting characters overall than the freaking Ewoks. They suck. That's my own opinion. So take it for whatever it is. I want to be completely polite in this video, but that's just how I feel on the whole subject of the Ewoks and stuff. Return of the Jedi is awesome. It has the only really good lightsaber scene in all of the original trilogy, between Luke and Vader in the Death Star with Palpatine. That's the only good lightsaber battle in all of the freaking original trilogy. That's it. The first one, A New Hope, lightsaber battle sucks. Pure and simple. I know they had to use heavier materials at the time. Not like today because of CG. That's one of the good things, though, about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Way better lightsaber battle and Duel of the Fates. Okay, now coming in at number 5. My personal ranks and personal opinions. Keep that in mind, it's my own personal opinion. Coming in at number 5. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, comes in at number 5. For a little while there, it was actually like number 3. Then as I really thought more and more about some of the characters and elements in Episode 7, it kind of dropped a little bit for me. I actually really, unlike some people, which pet peeve was Kylo Ren, aka Jason Solo, but let's be honest, Ben Solo, not Jason Solo, even though it actually is Jason Solo, renamed as Ben Solo. I know what you did there, because I've read the Legends books about Mara Jade and everything, so I know all about that. But yes, of course, the introduction of actually a multi-layered character, Kylo Ren, which I actually like, that they added more, and they made him kind of a total douche. I know most people will not forgive him because of killing Han. I realize that, but you had to show a strong darkness with him, though it's shown he's still struggling with the dark side. More so than his grandfather. But I will say, nevertheless, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, because of elements I have, or issues I have with this movie, like the bad reptars, or whatever you want to call those creatures, not very good, not the best CG, especially for Star Wars. Worse than some of the stuff in the prequels. Coming in at number 4 slot. I am going to get... that'll be next. Coming in at number 4 is Star Wars Rogue One, which I have now seen 5 times. Saw this film in theaters 2 or 3 times. But, yeah, in Force Awakens I saw 4 times, but whatever. Nevertheless, Rogue One, every time I watched it, the better it's gone, in my opinion. Top enough story, and I love the characters. Especially the female protagonist. I think she's awesome, kick-ass, just awesome. And I love the characteristics in adding a more multi-layered, and also with some of the other stuff. I especially love that scene at the end with all the lightsaber stuff and Vader. Oh my word, those 5 minutes were incredible. Better than a lot of the scenes in the original trilogy. Hands down, Vader, in the 5 minutes he's in the entire film, he's awesome. I especially love his freaking castle he has on Mustafar, where, of course, basically Anakin Skywalker died and Vader truly was born. Being burned alive, of course. Nevertheless, and I love that little joke he made when he told a certain main villain of this not to choke on his aspirations. That was awesome. I know some people didn't like that joke, but I thought it was hilarious. And in the end, of course, pretty much all the heroes in this all died. But it was awesome also again to see Admiral Akbar earlier days. The darker side, I guess you could say, of the rebellion. And also again to see a certain Senator Organa in this film. The original actor who played him, of course, in Episode 2 and Episode 3. That was awesome scene. Overall, I really liked this. As I watch it, I like it more. Which is why it's in 4th place. Coming in 3rd place is going to get me the most hate. Even more than Return of the Jedi. Coming in number 3 for me personally. Episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, I can really hear all the hatred right now seething through the computer screen. With that said, this is an incredible film. It is why it's still in my top 3 favorites. For a long time there, it was my number 1, but over time, it dropped to number 2 spot because the more I've watched another particular film, the more I liked it. And then over time, as I've watched another particular Star Wars movie, started liking more certain elements more so than this. Though still, you can't beat the whole battle on Hoth was awesome. Cloud City. And probably my favorite part of this entire film was actually on the planet, or not planet, but the whole part with Yoda and Luke on Dagobah. That was my favorite part of the entire film. I just loved every scene with Yoda. The introduction of Yoda into really the movies, of course. I just really enjoyed it. And the struggle with Luke, that's the part of the film I like a lot more. And also getting to see the stuff between Luke and Vader. That's my favorite part. I'm sorry I'm not some of these people who love these lovey-dovey, for the most part, love story between Han and Leia. I'm sorry. I just really didn't care as much about their relationship. I know, as I said, I know a lot of people disagree with me. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, as I am mine. It's what's called free speech. With that said, this comes in third. Coming in at number 2. Oh boy. Coming in number 2. Episode 3. Revenge of the Sith. Oh yes. That's right. I put a prequel in second place out of all 9 movies. And above Revenge of the above Empire Strikes Back. Awesome cover, of course, as always. But in my own personal opinion, keep that in mind, this is my own opinion, as I've said before. And take that what you will. But it's because of the references and head nods to the former legends, some stuff becoming canon. In the background, you had a statue in the Chancellor's chambers of Darth Bane. The talking about Darth Plagueis the Wise, my personal favorite Sith of all time in Star Wars. So maybe that's why I'm so biased. Plus, getting to see the fall of Anakin Skywalker and the rise of Darth Vader. And the power of the dark side of the Force. And it's by far the darkest Star Wars movie. Virtually no one will disagree. This is far darker than even Empire Strikes Back. This is darker, I feel, than maybe Rogue One. There are elements of Rogue One that are darker. It's definitely more gritty, but overall level of like darkness and things in it. This is by far the darkest Star Wars film still to date. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, has also the best fight scenes of all time, the best lightsaber duel of all time between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Is it completely over-the-top choreographed? Yes, but that's why I love it so much. And the soundtrack, I dare say, is the best soundtrack of the entire franchise goes through this film. With that said, number 1 favorite Star Wars movie of all time, the original, Star Wars Episode 4. A New Hope is my number 1 favorite Star Wars film of all time, and it will always remain my number 1 favorite. I have seen this film probably at least 40 times. I love this freaking film. It's amazing. But in my opinion, this is unrivaled number 1 of all time of the original trilogy, and this is number 1 of all time of the prequels. And now, finish off with the music. Plus, I have an announcement for 2 of the upcoming comic books for my comic book viewers. Upcoming review of the final installment to The Lazarus Contract, Teen Titans Special, and an upcoming new review for issue number 10 of Star Wars Darth Vader. So stay tuned for that future Vader, and as always, I'll see you next time in YouTube land. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel. And you're hearing in the background my personal favorite piece of music of all time from Star Wars.